Time to revisit golf and a golf course injury. A while back I did a video, someone getting hit by a errant golf shot and whether there was an actionable claim in that instance. And basically the bottom line is you assume the risks inherent in the game of golf, so if you get hit by an errant golf shot, there's going to be no actionable claim unless there's some sort of recklessness or intentional act involved. But this week we're talking about injury caused by getting hit by a golf cart while on the course. And there is a 2016 case out of Mahoning County, which I believe is Youngstown, Foreman versus Krebs. Foreman and Krebs are golfing together with another person. I think there are 3 guys in this group, so they had 2 golf carts. Foreman and the third member of the group were in one cart. Krebs had his own cart. So after a tee shot on one of the holes, they start driving to their tee shots. Foreman stops his cart, gets out, starts getting ready for his second shot. Krebs driving behind them, looking down at the scorecard, which is sort of a common thing when you're golfing and driving. A lot of golfers will look down at the scorecard and see how they're doing as they're driving the cart. Well, unfortunately, Krebs wasn't paying attention to where he was at. He hits Foreman. Foreman crashes through the plexiglass windshield on the golf cart, ends up on the floor of the golf cart, bleeding from his head. And I think what ultimately he sustained were some back injuries that required some back surgery. And he ultimately sues his buddy Krebs for the injuries he sustained because of getting hit by the golf cart. Case goes to a jury trial, and the jury actually awarded Foreman a little over $91,000 for this incident. So goes up to the Court of Appeals. There are several issues in the Court of Appeals, but what I'm going to focus on here is the assumption of the risk. And the question is, do you assume the risk that you're going to get hit by a golf cart when you're out golfing? Clearly the trial court didn't think so, so it goes up to the Court of Appeals. Just a little bit about the law. As I previously mentioned, when you go golfing, you assume the ordinary risks of the game of golf. Getting hit by an errant golf shot is the most obvious one. There's no actionable claim unless it isn't an ordinary risk of the game of golf. And there's an exception when there's reckless or intentional conduct. We're talking in the sense of a negligence claim. So in a negligence claim, you go golfing, you assume the risk you're going to get hit by an errant golf shot or any other ordinary risk. So the question was, is getting hit by a golf cart an ordinary risk in the game? And what this court focused on was, is it a risk that can be eliminated? If it can't be eliminated, then it certainly seems like it's going to be an ordinary risk of the game. So when you look at motorized carts, well, motorized carts aren't necessary to play the game in most instances. At this course that they were playing at, golfers had the option to walk. You can use a push cart or a pull cart, so there was no requirement that the golfers use a motorized cart. And with that in mind, the Court of Appeals held that getting hit by a golf cart isn't an ordinary risk of the game of golf because you don't need a golf cart to play the game. Obviously, you need a golf ball, golf clubs, so getting hit by an errant golf ball is inherent in the game, but you don't need a cart. You can walk. Carts aren't necessary for the game, therefore getting hit by a cart isn't an ordinary risk of the game of golf. And so the Court of Appeals upheld the judgment. It actually sent it back to the trial court, the case back to the trial court for some other reasons regarding judgment interest and all that and a few other things. But the Court of Appeals did uphold the $91,000 judgment. So at least in this court, getting hit by the cart, not an ordinary risk of the game of golf. But just a parting thought, there are some courses where you actually do have to use a cart, whether it pertains to pace of play. There are some courses out there that have quite a distance in between holes and it's just not feasible to walk. Some courses, just the elevation changes just don't make it feasible to walk. So some courses do require motorized carts be used. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a future case involving one of these courses, whether a different outcome could be possible.